welcome.
Hello.
One and all.
Hey guys.
To the Guitar Hour, Season 6, Episode 6.
Season finale.
Season finale,
Season 6.
Andy Timmons. I can see him, you can't. This is just so good. I can see him. So, welcome guys. As we said for the past few weeks, we're going to be interviewing Andy Timmons today. This is so exciting. Just going to turn the audio down a little bit on here because we can re-hear stuff that's coming through. So, guys, really quickly, a little bit of news. Obviously, we just want to plug the Patreon thing again. If anybody wants to go to www.theguitarhour.com, check out Patreon and buy some t-shirts, that would be awesome. Other little bits of news. BB's released his Pathways to Jazz tutorial.
Yeah, so that's actually, I know I talked about it last week on the stream and it wasn't quite ready, but it's all there now if you go to davidbb.com, and if you wanted to get into jazz, and if you're a rock and blues guy, that's I think you'll find that really useful for you. So yeah, that's out, so please check that out. What else have we got to say?
Oh man, we can hear Andy jamming in the background. This is too much.
Too exciting.
It's too much. You see, quality chords. Those are the chords you need. Andy just demonstrated quality chords.
Adult chords.
We'll get them on for you in a minute. Don't worry, we'll get them on for you.
One more, one other bit. More star news. In fact, Jonathan Kreisberg is coming to Leeds now. It's all done, and you can buy tickets for the Leeds gig at. If you go to the website or to our Facebook page, and there's a link there.
Oh, they're on the Guitar Hour website?
Not yet, but they will be.
Okay,
soon.
Cool.
BB's going to be there.
So yeah, you guys are going to be there.
I might be there, yeah.
And
should be.
So he'll also be doing a masterclass, but the details for that are not ironed out. But yeah, you can go and buy tickets for that now. It's the 22nd of May.
I'm going to cheat and ask Andy a question before we start the interview because you
Yeah.
can't see him. Are you a Jonathan Kreisberg fan, Andy?
I don't know him.
Oh man.
Right.
I know.
We have to sort that out.
I can't wait to check him out. My apologies. I don't get out much.
Okay. So it's so funny.
Tom Quayle's very good. I like Tom.
I've heard the exact opposite. It's so funny. It's so funny that you guys can't see him, but you can hear him. We can see him. It's so funny. We'll get him on in a second. So that's really it, guys, for news. We've also the Jonathan Kreisberg transcription book. It's not arrived yet, so we're going to give it away as soon as it arrives.
So that'll be a giveaway for season 5. Gosh, we're on season 5.
Right, beers really quickly, and then we'll shut up and get Andy on. So what am I drinking?
Lupul Lloyd.
Right, guys, there's a bit of a discrepancy here because my beer looks like this.
Tom's got a big one.
I've got a big
Is
one.
that just big or is it just nearer the camera?
It's that one. Yours are very far away.
Tom Quayle's got deceptively small hands.
Andy's on the water because he's sensible, and it's only 1:30 in the afternoon over there. So we'll shut up and let's get Andy on. So without further ado, I welcome Mr. Andy Timmons. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
guys.
Andy.
There is a very small possibility before we start doing this, and I'll just look over here, that there might be a couple of like little weird kind of audio things going on, just because for two reasons. First of all, it's Skype, and Skype can do some very strange things to audio and video. And secondly, we're kind of recording the Skype at the same time as listening to it. So if there's anything weird, I apologise. We're doing our best.
Can you guys see Andy and hear him?
Yeah, just say something for us, Andy.
Hello. Good to see you guys, man. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
we can hear you great, yeah.
Thank you.
I feel like
so
I have
much
to
for
shout because you're in England.
Gotta travel a long way.
Across,
Absolutely.
we're going to space and back. I figure,
Yeah, we are utilising some physics of some description. So,
But let's bitch about it. That doesn't work properly. Yeah.
no, exactly, and that'll probably make it work for sure. We really appreciate this, Andy. Thank you so much for doing this. We know you're a busy man.
Sincerely, I'm honored. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be still playing, and people are listening. So thank you for having me on, man.
No problem. We're glad you are here. Very glad. We've got loads of questions to get through because we asked people to submit questions before. For the guys in the chat, we're going to try. There will be a little bit of echo, guys. There will be. There's nothing. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. And there might be a little bit of delay. It's just the way that Skype works when you're actually recording it. So apologies for that. With OBS, I'm sorry. We're doing the best we can. So we're all going to ask you a question, Andy, and then we're going to ask the audience questions.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Dave. Dave's got a question for you. And then
Hello,
we'll go around
Dave.
this way.
Hello, Andy.
Hey, man.
So what I wanted to ask you about is just around your tone.
Yeah.
One of my favourite recorded tones on guitar is the tone you got on your Sgt. Pepper's record. I just think the tone is absolutely incredible.
Oh man, thank you.
There's two things that I think is really cool about your tone. Firstly, that you're really fat lead tone, but also the thing where you play like really dense chords just on the edge of breakup and stuff like that, and it just, but you can still got the clarity there. So the question I want to know is, do you start out with the tone in mind? Is there something you've always aimed for? Is there something you're listening out for, or is it just kind of been trial and error kind of process?
There's a lot of that when it comes to tone. There's so much of it that has to do, certainly with your heroes, whoever sets the sonic bar for you. For me, early on would have been guys like Lukather and Carlton, Robin Ford, and certainly later with Eric Johnson or Satriani and some of the more recent rock guys. I think that's always kind of lurking in your head what you consider to be the high benchmark. That's what we're reaching for. And that's what the path that Mike Dane and I really went down, starting with the Resolution record, where we took our time with that record with the tone for the first time. I've been working with Rob Wexler for all the years of my instrumental recordings. And I was concerned with tone, but I was more concerned with performance. I was more concerned with the emotion coming through, the technique, the song. I was concerned with tone, but I didn't spend I wasn't very patient with it. I wasn't going to sit around and test batteries at that time in my life, But sincerely, I wanted to plug in, and I had faith in my engineer where I knew that if I came in with a good sound, he's going to make it sound even better.
Yeah.
What I learned down the road, it's not his job to make me sound good. It's my job to make to come in fully formed, right? So when Mike and I started recording the Resolution record, and we decided to have just that one guitar track, that's what sent us down the path of, if there's not overdubs of doubling the guitar, rhythm guitars, or any keyboards, man, that one guitar better be really strong.
Yeah.
So that's when we took the time to start testing batteries, so to speak, and speaker cables and every possible thing that had to do with guitar tone. And a lot of it was inspired by Eric Johnson, no doubt about it. The stories about him are legendary, but they're all, at least the ones I've heard, they're all true. There's even there was one really funny thing that happened years before we started doing Resolution. We saw Eric when he was doing his Alien Love Child project in the mid-late 90s, and he came to Dallas. And all of a sudden on his pedal board, there's his tube driver sitting up on a plywood platform. And we're looking at it, like tilted a certain way. I'm like, oh, come on, Eric. What's this about, right? So fast forward to, the story from the tech was that I've been friends with Eric for years, but I tend not to ask him those kind of questions because I know he gets all the time. Not to. Anyway, we asked his tech, right before or after the gig, and like, well, what's up with that? And he goes, well, Eric was playing one day, and I picked up his tube driver to straighten a cable, and he stopped me. What'd you do? That sounds way better. Well, I just lifted it up. Next thing you know, here's a wood platform to keep it at that exact angle, right? So years later, when we're recording the Resolution record, I was using the 3-knob version of the tube driver, not the 4-knob that Eric uses, but still a tube-driven distortion box, sitting on the studio floor, feeding 2 Marshall heads and cabinets out there. At one moment, I was plugged into something else. I wasn't plugged into the tube driver, but that was still connected to an amp. Though whatever else I was playing, we were hearing it through the Marshalls. Like, what the fuck's happening? Well, this is a ghost, right? It turns out that the microphonic tube in the tube driver was picking up vibration from the floor and sending it to the amps.
Huh.
So think about what that's doing to your tone if that's on stage. So as soon as you lift that up, man, it cleaned up the low end, and not just a little bit, but drastically so. The rest of the Resolution record, you could bet there was 2 pieces of plywood underneath it. And so it's one of those things where we finally gave ourselves, and me gave myself the latitude. Unfortunately, Mike had his own studio, so it wasn't like we were burning dollars doing it. We were burning our time, but the learning process along the way was huge, and that spilled over into the Sgt. Pepper record, because I pretty much used the same setup in addition to the Mesa Boogie stuff that I was then using. So that record essentially is the one tube driver feeding 2 Echoplexes and 2 Memory Man into 2 Marshalls and 2 Lone Stars, or stilettos, depending. Yeah. So it was a little complicated, but it was still the one guitar track. That was the goal of that record, to see if I could replicate those classic tunes, just me and the band. That's where it has to be a great tone. There has to be clarity. So, again, Eric might have been a bit of a role model in that way, but I had to forge my own way at the same time. You want to take you want to take those influences and have your heroes, but at the same time, you eventually have to hopefully do your own thing with it. I don't want to be a guy that only sounds like Lukather or he only sounds like Eric, though I could never sound like either one of those guys. But it's like Stevie Ray took Albert King and Hendrix and all his blues guys, and it came out so him, you know. Same with the Beatles. Same with the Beatles with their songwriting. They took Smokey Robinson and all the girl groups and, you know, American pop standards, and it just came out their own way. And they referenced, you know, everything they ripped off. They were open about it, you know. They said, "Oh, that's us doing Smokey Robinson," or whatever it might be.
I think you can safely say that you are instantly recognisable. To be honest, I mean, like to relate to that question that Dave asked.
Yeah.
You know, I think when somebody says to a guitar player, "Man, I can recognise you from a single note," it's kind of a funny thing to hear because you probably don't think that's a reality. But,
right.
But I can recognise you're playing immediately. I'm not trying to flatter you because you're on stream. It's just
I appreciate it.
It's a matter of fact thing. But here's like a follow on from that. So I remember very distinctly being stood at the Laney booth at NAMM and hearing you plug into an amp. You maybe don't even remember this. This was this year or last year, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they literally gave you a cable, and you had that guitar or the signature model of some description, and you plugged in to this completely dry amp. And the amp is not the easiest amp in the world to play. And I was like, man, I hate that guy. He sounds exactly the same through that amp as through like the stiletto thing with the stereo amps, and you know, it was like, okay, that's Andy Timmons immediately. So. Someone did ask, where was it? Who asked this question? Because someone, or maybe we crossed it out because Dave. It was actually Dave was going to ask this, and a guy called Onar Azolton. There's this cliche that tones in the fingers, but with you, like it's got to be, because why do you? This is maybe a strange question to answer. Maybe you don't know the answer to it, but why do you sound the same for every single piece of gear? It's like
I actually have a theory. I mean, it's one of the things is that, you know, I'm 53 now, so I've been playing. Good Lord, you know, 45 more years basically. So I think that obviously it doesn't take that long to develop any kind of tone, but I think that the longer it's all about your ear. I think that your ear it's really wanting to hear a certain thing, and I think that your physical hands on the guitar eventually learn how to get there, even when the gear's not cooperating like you would hope it would be. I mean, absolutely. All these things add up and make a difference. Every pedal, every cable, every amp. And again, I'm flattered with your statement of hearing me as having a recognizable style. I don't hear it. I don't. I'm too close to it. I'm too close.
Chat's going to disagree hugely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's just it. It's just, you know, when you're too close to it, that's reality. But I'm hugely flattered, and of course that's the greatest compliment anybody could pay a guitarist, so thank you. But just getting back to it, I mean, there's a certain way, just acoustically, I'm going to strike a string a certain way. There's even a guy that I know that did a study that put it down to the pH in your sweat that had a certain thing, you know, whatever the level of acidity or whatever. There's so many components, but I really think it's your ear. I think it's the ear that you develop in trying to attain whatever your ultimate toll might be it a SRV or a Hendrix or whoever the sonic hero might be. That's all in there, and then the more intimate you are with an instrument, no doubt that's going to play into it. But if you did hand me a variety of different guitars, it would probably sound pretty similar. Just because of the acoustic phenomenon or what's physically happening with just that string and the pick and the fingers.
I think combined with
that being said, you know, so that it's definitely it's a very personal thing that's only enhanced or discouraged by the gear, you know.
Do you so one quick, and then I'm going to let Dan ask this question, but one quick question. Like, I've spoken to quite a few professional guitar player friends of mine who answer this question in very different ways, but like, I'm majorly affected by tone. So if I have a really bad tone, I can't, like, maybe I play to like 30% of my ability. Whereas if I have a really great tone, that actually might go to like 110%.
Yeah, no doubt. There's no doubt about that. Now, if you've heard me plug into an amp and I play a couple notes, I'm safe. Okay, a couple notes. But yeah, if I were to have to try to really be expressive and be myself, that's a different story. And I'm on board with you with that statement. that, I can do well in a variety of situations, and I've had to with experience over years, and that's a great character builder. But yes, I mean, when it's more encouraging than discouraging, of course you're going to play better because you're going to feel better. You're going to be able to execute whatever it is that you're hearing. So that does play a major factor.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of touched on this a little bit before with your question, but I was listening to the Sgt. Pepper album, and it seems like in a trio situation, you have a really good ability to somehow like fill the space, even though it's just you. There's not a great amount of sort of overdubs, or
right.
Like there's I can't remember. There's a tune where you're literally just playing the melody. You're not playing on the one note, and it still sounds like all this space is taken up. I wonder if you've got any, if there's any conscious, like maybe outside of tone as well, if there's any conscious things you do in order to fill that space. Like, do you think about putting things in certain keys so you can get open strings, or do you play a certain way in order to?
Yeah, there's no doubt that I did everything in the original key on the Pepper record. I think, to the best of my memory, because I did those arrangements from memory. The first thing Paul Gilbert asked me was, "What key did you do Lovely Rita in?" Because they did a lot of vari-speeding back then, just for effect, or they thought it sounded cooler. So Rita could be B flat or B, So I picked B flat because that, in my memory, That's what I heard in my head. So I stuck with B flat. So okay, yeah. I mean, in some of those melodies, I didn't need much more than just the melody, maybe the bass note, like in Lucy in the Sky. Lennon was brilliant at a common tone type of melody. If you hear an early take of Lucy in the Sky, it's "Picture yourself in a boat on a river." That's literally how he was singing it, and Paul started to suggest the melodic thing, but it's "Picture yourself in a boat on a river." So if you just add the bass note.
All the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up.
So there's an example of, yes, if I could get a melody to ring out with this open string, how to do that? That's nice because the major 7 rings out. So you look for opportunities like that. But another part of it is Mike Dane, and the way that he and I have grown to play together. So we've been playing together since 1988. So we have some experience in just playing trios. So he has an incredible sense of how to fill things out. How to really he loves playing bass, and that's kind of a funny thing to say, but it's. There's a lot of bass players that are more concerned with soloing than playing the role of bass. Right, he's a wonderful soloist as well, and it's incredible solo pieces that he plays. And so there's a certain functionality of what that role is in the band and his particular sound that he gets, his tone. And then if I'm improvising and that type of thing, there's a lot of my note choice that helps in the scenario, because from my jazz playing over the years, I very much like to outline harmony. That studying that style of music really encourages and almost necessitates. So I think that really informs my note choice. And so that's if I'm in the key of A minor, if there's only the A going on, you're definitely going to hear a C over that chord. If it goes down to the F, I'm going to play it. So there's a lot of identification of tonality of each chord. And I'm much more concerned about that than specific overall key. That's also good to know. Now I'm aware of those things, but it's I'm much more identifying with the chord that's happening at the time than the key, because it's all is it a consonant or just say again? I'm sorry.
This leads beautifully onto BB's question. He's
Okay.
Because in a way, the three of us, like myself, BB, and Dan. I don't want to single Dave out, but we're jazz guys, so we're schooled in. We did like jazz degrees or kind of study jazz. Dave's definitely a rock guy, but is getting into actually I shouldn't destroy your credibility. So Dave hates jazz. But BB's got a really interesting question that actually has become a bit of a kind of comedy thing because he always asks people this question. But it's a really interesting question, so I'm going to let him do his thing.
So I've recently fallen into this accidental guitar journalism thing. So every guy I meet now who's like one of my heroes, I ask them this same question because it fascinates me how you play and think and improvise. And
Sure.
so it goes like this. So how do you visualize the fretboard? Is it more of a caged or 3-note per string system, or do you visualize like specific intervals against a root note?
And I guess this also depends on like the scenario as well. So in a jazz context, let's split your head up into two. So in a jazz context and in a more kind of rock kind of context.
So let's say because you studied jazz, is that in Miami? Is that right?
Well, I started when I was 16. I'd already been playing for 9 years at that time. So I was self-taught till 16. But my first teacher, who I went to help me learn how to read, was a jazz player. So from the age of 16. I've been exposed to and learned a lot about jazz from that age. So, and then I did study in Miami for 2 years. Yeah.
Someone's asked us to mention Randall Dollahan.
Oh, Randall. Yeah, Randall was the head of the guitar department.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Randall was the head. My first year, I studied with a guy. His name was Rick Schmunk, a great teacher. And that was and so this kind. Yeah, I know. This kind of that was a big time for me because I'd never been really given any kind of organized formal studies about modes and really that kind of academia. It was all the learning I got. The education I got from my first teacher was, he was teaching me the voicings and learning how to play over changes and stuff, but it wasn't really a modal approach. He was very much a Barney Kessel kind of guy, which is more of a blues-based but harmonically advanced kind of guitar playing. And I'd studied classical for a couple of years at University of Evansville, where I grew up in Indiana. And then so I'm going to kind of try to answer all the levels of that question.
Yeah,
but
it's a really big question.
No, it's a very broad thing, but it's something now that I've been teaching a lot more in the past few years, and so I've had to really learn how to articulate and even kind of realize myself things that I wasn't even aware that I was doing.
Cool, right,
and there's very much a visual thing happening, regarding relationship to chord shapes. I'm gonna see, no matter what position I'm in, I'm gonna see the available chord shapes. Obviously, if I'm not chording. So, but because of my modal studies and what I eventually wanted to do vocally on the guitar, I see the neck very horizontally and not vertically. Right. I can run all the 3-note per string scales. And that's how I learned what I used to call filling in the blind spots, because you had your couple of pentatonic. And because of Ted Nugent, I learned how to go. To quote the Stranglehold solo. There were all these blind spots, that I didn't know. So once you go through the process of learning the guitar neck, once you go through the process of learning all the modes, scales, as much as you can, that to me, even though if I play Cry for You, it's in the key of D minor, it goes to B flat, I know it's pretty much Aeolian. I could think of it as all the modes of F major if I want to, but it just kind of just showed me where all the notes are, and I can instantly visualize. I'm in that key. There's the notes. I see it.
And are you thinking note names as such, or would you be thinking of the interval, the function, intervallic function of the root note?
He makes me laugh.
Sorry.
Okay.
So eventually, Martin Miller, and you did like How Insensitive and Mr. PC.
Yes.
I think. That completely blew me away because I hadn't heard you play jazz before, and I'm like,
thank you.
This guy.
I just did a whole bossa nova record, by the way.
No way! What?
In Rio de Janeiro, I went at the end of last year and did a whole with Roberto Menescal, who wrote O Barquinho, which is a very famous bossa standard. I did it at his studio with Sidney Cavallo. It's going to come out later this year.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
More about that later. But that thing with Martin was amazing because we'd never played before. We just sat down and luckily they were filming. So he's incredible. Hi Martin, if you're watching, hello.
He sometimes isn't here. Yeah.
But getting back to it, it's you know, at this point, it's more about I'm aware of what the chord tones are, and I'm aware of what that chord tone will sound like if I play it. If I don't play a chord tone, I know it's a tension tone, and that may be an intended sound at the time, but it's going to want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And for me, all the music that I enjoy listening to and all the players that I enjoy listening to, that's a consistent thread. And I recognize it now, looking back at my bigger influences. And you look at Metheny and Carlton and Ford and Lukather, there's so much melodic intention. You know, there's so much. There can be licks and there can be shred things happening on whatever level it might be, but man, there's a direction happening.
I think
in my year over the years, it's definitely gravitated towards that way. It's what I want to hear from myself, but it's also what I want to hear from other players. You know.
That's fantastic. So,
thank you.
Like you mentioned the teaching thing, so I'm going to make this opportunity to talk about. I'm going to do some promo for you. So the Guitar Experience website. Like,
yes.
If people haven't heard about this, basically Andy's started a tuition website, and if there was any guy you wanted to start a tuition website, it's this man, because the variety of stuff and the tone and like the schooling and just everything. You're like the guitar player's guitar player. So tell us how you got started in that and why you wanted to do it, and do a bit of promo for everybody so they can go and see the stream.
It really just kind of fell down the stairs a certain way. There's a good friend of mine here in McKinney that opened up a guitar shop called the Guitar Sanctuary. And it has these teaching studios, and he asked me, this goes back 4 or 5 years ago, he had a friend that had a son that wanted a guitar lesson from me specifically. Hey, would you do me a favor and come teach this guy a lesson? Oh, okay. But I've had this, for years I had this thing in my head that I wasn't a good teacher and I didn't like it. Because I had some experience when Danger fell apart in the early 90s, whenever it was 93, I moved back to Texas, and I had no money, no gigs. So a local music shop literally cleaned out a storage closet so I could teach there. And I started taking students, right? And so I found it hard for one thing. And then everybody coming in just seemed like they wanted to hang out. Nobody was really getting anything out of it. Except for a couple of guys that, you know, you see the light bulb on. You know, I know you know what I'm talking about when you have a student.
Yeah.
There's just some that come in and they're on fire, and you feel like you can really help them. So those guys were fun, but everything else just kind of felt like, man, this is not what I want to do. But after this other experience, more recently, you know, I found out that with that particular student, I enjoyed it. So then they said, well, anytime you want to come in and teach, you know, so I would occasionally I would just take one day and book 4 1-hour lessons, you know, charge a bit more than the average teacher. And so that weeds out some folks there, because they're going to have a certain level of commitment, right, to come in if they're going to pay you more. And I enjoyed having that one guy come in for one time. Let's hang out, and I want to share with you. I want to find out where you're at. And I had all levels, man. I had some technically adept players who have been playing that long. You can always find things to positively reinforce. Say, hey, you're doing this well, but let's work on this stuff. You know, this is stuff. I'm going to give you stuff. Here's a lifetime of shit. You know,
that's my.
And it's stuff we all need. And it's all foundational. It's all basics. So that kind of got me into feeling like, wow, okay, I'm getting better at this. I feel like I'm making a difference. And then TrueFire contacted me about doing a couple of lesson series, and they made it so incredibly easy. I mean, if you come in with your shit together, it's easy. Yeah. We'll say that. I mean, they basically give you an outline here. You just you come up with the content, and you just come in, and we'll film you. And I found out that I had a gift for sitting in front of a camera and just talking about what I'm doing and playing. And we did all this content in a couple of days. I thought, man, that's kind of cool. So that was maybe 3 years ago, and I got the idea. Well, I got some friends that are doing this online tutorial stuff. I should consider it, but my schedule was such as I just never had the time to do it. And so I made a commitment to myself that I was going to tour less.
No.
Hold on, guys. We'll get him back. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
What?
He's disappeared. Okay, let me just go back to...
The wheels are coming off. It's okay.
We'll get him back, don't
Hold it
worry, we'll
together.
get him back.
Andy, don't leave us.
Don't
Oh,
leave
he's
us, Andy.
disappeared.
Oh.
These are the joys of live streaming.
Please come back, Andy.
Andy, did you have the charger plugged into your iPad?
Maybe his iPad's died.
Possibly, yeah.
The iPad.
And he was
Hashtag
such a good
iPad.
answer as well.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get him back. Well, I say we'll get him back. I hope we will. I hope his iPad hasn't died.
Just say, even when he was playing
He's
for
still
Losing
alive.
the Sky with Diamonds,
Yeah.
like, barely, really, if you, as far as, you know, technique, harmony and all this other shit that we strive for, it's not playing anything difficult, but sounded fucking
it's
amazing. The
ridiculous.
touch,
Just
the touch
the camera on
for just pissing
Yeah.
about, like,
on
just,
the
oh yeah,
iPad.
it just goes like this.
But it's almost
Utterly
like,
awesome.
man, a way
We're trying to get him back, guys. We're trying to get him back. I
Instead of-
fear his iPad might have died.
it hacks the strings in a certain way that's so unique, and that's what I think is the that thing when you say, oh, you hear someone with, there's like a ebb and a flow to the way of phrases and attacks the strings. It's so
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. He
gorgeous.
like I was saying to him when
we still
just
live?
yeah. we'll just give him a minute, guys, just to, in case his iPad has died. Don't worry, we'll try and get him back.
Yeah.
But the hairs on the back of my neck when he was playing, like he
Oh,
wasn't
man.
playing anything like too crazy, but the hairs on the back of my neck, everything he played.
The
was just
delivery,
like,
it's just the delivery. Like, what is that? Like, what
that's
is that?
me.
Like,
like it's again like you try and ask him, and it's almost an intangible thing, isn't it?
that's what I
Crazy.
mean. Like, because any of us could have played that same line, but it's the touch thing.
Ninja Badger.
It's the.
There is no oh no, there's straw poles showing up.
He's
Hold
trying to tell
on,
us
hold on.
there is.
There we go.
Oh,
There is no
I need
straw
to play
pole.
over it.
Oh no! Don't get me started, Hendrix. I'll never.
Oh
shut
no,
up.
no, hold on. I think he might be back. Let's see. Let's see. It's ringing.
Hey.
It's
Yeah.
ringing.
Oh, it adds a bit of tension midstream, doesn't it?
Yeah. This is like
This is like
In midstream
it's the
tension.
cliffhanger at the end of the episode. It's ringing. I don't know if he's going to answer, but it's ringing. We can hear the Skype ringtone.
We will get on
This
to
isn't
the
fake peril, by the way.
fake peril.
Like,
No, we
genuine-
didn't.
it's genuine
didn't
peril.
Fake news.
will they pull it off and end the stream?
It's like the end of a 60s Batman. same,
Jeez.
same bat channel.
You can hear Skype calling. There's no answer yet.
I need another beer.
We'll get another beer. We'll just give him a minute to kind of like figure it out, guys. 'Cause
We will get on to your questions as well. We've been kind of hogging it so
Yes.
far, but it's just because he's given
Such
really good answers.
awesome
as
answers.
soon as we get back, guys, it's all
Yeah.
interesting stuff. We'll get straight onto your questions.
Yeah,
but we have to get him back first.
I'm so interested in where that stuff comes from, like the delivery of a line.
I mean, it's tood, isn't it? It's got like
Tood.
tood by the bucket load.
But
As in attitude.
Is it a personality thing? Is it about caring about the line?
Previously
Is it-
on the Guitar Hour.
Yeah. Is it where your focus is?
Hey,
Oh, he's coming back.
Oh, that's just Andy Timmons calling us.
No big deal.
Gong.
Mr. Timmons.
He's back.
No, we can't.
That was on my end because our internet took a dive.
Really?
Ah.
We can't see you. We can hear you.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see.
No problem. Hey guys, at least you can hear him. Oh, he's coming.
Hey!
There you go.
Oh,
We're in a different room and everything.
Scene change.
different guitar.
My very messy office. My wife will not be happy about this.
There we go. That's all right. That's
Don't-
all right.
The key.
Anybody tell her.
Who would live in a house like this?
So you should be able to see and hear him now, guys. We got him back for you.
I'm hearing you better too. So maybe where I was in my studio wasn't the best
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's good. Different guitar? Yeah. Different AT.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we should get onto the audience questions because we've been hogging you. But you were
That's all
telling
right.
us about the Guitar Experience website. So do you want to tell us? Because you kind of got into the teaching thing, but I really want to let you promote the website.
Well, I appreciate that. No, it's so as I got into thinking about doing a site like this, I wanted to make it a bit more than just here's some lessons, come back and see me later. There's going to be lots of tutorial stuff, but there's going to be a lot of other content like old videos that haven't been put on YouTube and such. Just a bunch of stuff from my collection. every month we're going to go through and analyze one of my tunes from all of my past, all the way. This month I went as far back as Danger Danger and did that shreddy tune called Puppet Show, and I had to practice. I had to practice to get that one together. Man. But everything from all the different records. So it's going to be there'll be me playing it on screen, and then I'll go through and show each individual section and talk about the story behind the song, the tone, the gear. Then I've got a guy, Alexander Calamari, a friend of mine down in Sao Paulo, who's transcribing it both in notation and also for a Guitar Pro, the app.
Right. Nice.
Which is quite fun to listen to your playing back mechanically.
Oh, yeah.
Farmer Says was incredible.
You can take your greatest solo and make it sound like the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. It's incredible.
Or better in my case.
Yeah, possibly. So
it's all that. It's lots of tunes. I'm also doing a jazz standard every month, and some lick builder ideas. So lots of I want to have the platform to just kind of talk about any random type of thing that I want to teach that comes into my head, things that I'm working on. The very selfish thing about this is that in order to do this, I've got to practice my own stuff and then talk about how to do different things with it. So it's encouraging me to expand on what I already know, and which is what we all need to do. And it's really not that difficult. I think for me, I was just never a very disciplined practicer. I played all the time, but I sucked at sitting down and playing scales and all that, So, but in the past few years, I've gotten back into really at least playing standards every morning, which just exercises every part of my playing that I want to. I have to be aware of changes. So, but I went for years without doing that, and it's I was always playing, and I was maybe bettering myself in certain ways, whether it be writing or what it might be. But I feel now that I'm just kind of getting started. I really do. So it's kind of win-win for me because hopefully I'm helping some other players be inspired, but I can share my inspiration for wanting to get better and the fact that I'm just going to be working harder to make sure I'm a good teacher at doing it.
So you all need to go and check it out, otherwise there'll be trouble.
And what's the web address? What's the website
address? It's I wish I had a thing here. Guitar Experience, no E in front of the X. So GUITAR and then XPERIENCE.net. So www.guitarexperience.net. And that's it. So we're having fun, man. We've got a lot of people already joined up, and so far so good. And thank you, Tom, for you shared your web video thing
production
tutorial. I'm good at words. I'm real good at words. Makes me a real good teacher. No, your tutorial stuff that you sent to me and Nick was really helpful, so thank you.
No, that's great.
Still doesn't look as good as your stuff, but we're learning. It's like everything else. We're tweaking as we go with the recording.
More skills to develop. No, it's all good. So, okay, so we should get into the audience questions because we're going to get some hate in the chat if we don't. Yeah. Someone shared the website as well, so that's great in the chat.
Don't be hating. Yeah.
So, Rich, maybe we take these in turns, and then I'll do the first one, then we take them in turns. So Richard Henry on Facebook, all these guys are big fans of yours, has asked,
hello.
It's been 2 years since the last Andy Timmons Band shows in the UK. Are there any plans to do any more tours in support of the new album? So Theme for a Perfect World.
There's no immediate plans. We're just doing some stuff here in Texas in the next few months and maybe on the East Coast here in the States. Like I said, this year I needed to slow down a little bit for family and just personally. And so no immediate plans, but you can come over to McKinney.
Yeah.
I'll start a new Branson here in McKinney. I'll just have my own theater and people can come here.
That's an official invite for everybody to come over to McKinney. You heard it. I heard it.
Come on over. No immediate plans, but gosh, I want to come back to the UK quite a bit more. So at this point, it'll be next year, 2018, whatever it is, and and we'll go from there. But I appreciate the invite. Yeah,
I think all four of us, including even Dave, are desperate to jam some standards with you.
Oh,
yeah.
I would.
That's what I got the iReal book app, and let's play.
Andy, what standard are you working on this week then? Just as a quick cheeky question.
as I mentioned, the gypsy jazz bug has bitten. So it's let's see. You recognize that?
No, I don't. I'm afraid it sounds beautiful.
Sounds like I'll see it. Is it I'll see you in my dreams?
It's Django's version of "See You in My Dreams."
Hey, Smithers.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, it's at every point in my, depending on what week it is, we all go through these phases of like, oh, a couple months ago it was all Clint Strong and Wes Montgomery and Pat Martino. Then it was the Kinks the next week. But now it's Django right now, and I'm really eaten up with the gypsy thing. And that's the beauty with all these things. There's so much history just waiting for you. I've known Django's been there all this time, and I'm aware of all the influence that he had on guys from Les Paul forward. But holy shit, man! And it's with jazz. And Tom, maybe you know this. You guys know this. There's that film on YouTube by Bill Evans, the pianist. It's called the Universal Mind of Bill Evans.
Yep.
It's his brother, who was a jazz educator in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, interviewing Bill Evans, and it's done in the mid '60s. Steve Allen, a TV host from America, had done the intro to it. It's the best piece of jazz or really music education I've ever seen. And one of the things it talks about with the process of learning jazz is that you have to really address the problems. And I love how he said that. It's kind of like, that's a very unmusical thought. But he's basically saying you really got to get the foundation and the basic things together. The problem that he said that he was even witnessing back then was like people are trying to sound too advanced too quickly.
Oh yeah.
They're approximating. And yeah, when I was in school, I want to be Mike Stern now.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to have to do all the work, so let me learn his licks. Well, there's no foundation, so I think for me personally, going back to Django and going back to Louis Armstrong, where he got, some of his things, just that really, even though it's not all inside, there's starting to be some complex harmony by the late 40s in his playing. It's just all the stuff that I wish I had together. My first teacher told me, just learn the arpeggios. Well, I never did. I should have. So I loved hearing that from Bill Evans, and I highly recommend that film called
I'll check it
The
out.
Universal Mind of Bill Evans. And anyway, so I've already forgotten what we started talking about, but that led me to think about that
Incredibly
film.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Let's do the next question.
Okay, so this is from David McCain, also on Facebook. Okay, here's my fun question. If Andy was stuck on a deserted island, and this isn't going where you think it is, and he could only have one of two guitar players with him to keep him sane, would it be Jeff Beck or Steve Lukather?
Oh, I think Luke because we get on so well. I met Jeff and he seems pretty quiet. So
Yeah, you can't have a quiet person on a desert island.
I think, but then again, I mean, I'm a huge fan of both guys, but Luke is a bro, and we'd have a good time. We played Beatles the whole time, probably.
Oh, yeah. He's a dude. Awesome.
Well, that was an easy one. Thanks, man.
Go for it, Dan.
Good question, though. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Scott Abbott New Hook. It's a great name. Is asking about your track "Cry for You." Such an expressive song. I'd like to know the history behind it and how it came to be.
Okay.
I bet you get asked this a lot, don't you?
What's that?
I bet you get asked this question quite a lot.
It's not my first time, but it'll be a very similar answer, I think. No, it was. I wrote that. I had just joined Danger, so it would have been '89, and I was living in Ted Poley's apartment in Hackensack, New Jersey, which probably sounds as unluxurious as it actually was.
Hackensack.
Yeah, I was in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Nice.
Across from the Arena Diner, though. That was a nice restaurant. Anyway, and I had a girlfriend that was still in Texas at the time. So I was just lonely. I was just living in an apartment, sleeping on a couch, and missing my girlfriend. So it was kind of just with that emotion of just being separated from somebody you love, and so the song has lasted a lot longer than the girlfriend did. So I got something out of the deal, right? And then I recorded, I guess, for that what became my first solo record. But I think the original recording was 1992. And then, of course, that live version with Simon Phillips got circulated quite a bit on the tubes of You. And yeah, I guess I have that song to thank for a lot of people that are aware of my playing, because that was, and still probably the biggest viewing I have of any of my online stuff.
Yeah.
Hardly of any of which I've uploaded myself. So hope somebody's making some ad revenue from that.
That's annoying. So do you find, like, I'm going to interject my own question. So do you find like you can easily write from an emotive base, or do you also find yourself writing cerebrally as well, like using your, extensive knowledge, or do you always write from like a place of kind of like there's an emotive thing that's happened, or like relating to a life circumstance or whatever?
Well, it happens both ways. It seems like my better tunes are the ones that just happen naturally when I am responding to, whether it be Gone or That Day Came, or certain songs that were written with a very specific emotion. But no, I mean, there's the brain, can be involved. I don't like it to be all the time, but it can certainly give you places to go. If the ear isn't taking you there naturally, you can go, oh, well, if I keep that note as a common tone, I know that's the third of E flat. What if I go from, oh, I like that. Okay. So there's plenty of theory and those types of things that can help or get in the way. Let's just put it that way. Because, as you know, the uneducated ear will sometimes go places that you might not go by thinking, oh, that's not correct, or whatever the wall might be because of the education. So I try to, I'm aware of it. I try to let the ear and the emotion be the dominating influence, but the brain isn't all bad. The brain can be a good thing, not always,
Okay.
Not always.
Awesome.
But,
right. Next question, Dave. Ryan Daly.
Ryan Daly off Facebook. Quick question for Andy. What is the best and worst gig of your life and why?
Now this is something that Mitch Marine brought up to me, and I think I agree. Where we did, this is back in 1988 maybe, and the Andy Timmons band had just formed. Mike Dane on bass, Mitch Marine on drums. But I was still gigging with a cover band called the Molly Maguires, and we were just playing covers. And the bass player of that band was a really great singer, and that whole band were big Beatles fans, and Mitch was a big Beatles fan. So we decided to do a night of Beatles at a local pub in Denton, Texas, called the Library. And we thought we'd do one night of Beatles. What a great thing! We called the band Revolver. This was before all the tribute bands were such a popular thing, and not many people, besides the Broadway Beatlemania, had really done much of this. So we did a whole night of Beatles, and the place was packed, and it was, none of us had ever had the opportunity to do it and to play that music that was such an integral part of our musical DNA. And I just remember going home and I was weeping. I was just like in tears because it was so great. The emotional was so high, but just by then, Lennon was gone, and it was just a heavy thing. Though, just that connection with that music, and the band was fucking awesome. I mean, Mitch is the best Ringo that I know. He's just incredible. He just has the love and respect for what Ringo does so magically well. And the other guys in the band were all great singers, and so we didn't try to dress up or get the Hoffners out or none of that. Let's just play these tunes, and that was a great one. Worst gig is having to put on a leprechaun suit for a St. Patrick's Day party. Yeah. There was a time in the mid '80s where I was just doing any gigs you get. So there's these private party groups, right?
Yeah.
That you put a tux on, you go do your gig, right? Well, this one was the St. Patty's Day. It's like, oh, by the way, here's your uniform, here's your outfit. And I don't have the picture, but there's a picture somewhere of
So that's the point where you're thankful that camera phones didn't exist at that point, and YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That would be bad news.
But it's almost to the point where, because there's so much shit out there, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I think I was a lot more vain and worried about my playing 10 years ago than I am now. It's almost like, you know what? I can't do anything about it. You can't keep people from photographing or whatever, and just, okay. it's me, folks. So fortunately, it's usually more the good stuff that gets circulated, but I can't be worried about it too much anymore. It would be too, it's inhibiting, I think.
It's only good stuff, Andy. It's only good stuff.
Yeah.
So Matt Birtwhistle wants to know, and I want to know this as well, actually. Given Andy's love of jazz, or given your love of jazz, is there a jazz album in the pipeline? I mean, you mentioned the bossa thing. Is there a more straight
Well,
ahead kind of thing?
the bossa thing's a good start. Again, that's with Sidney Cavallo and Roberto Menescal. Menescal was a contemporary of Joe Beam and excuse me for having a brain issue here. Hold on a second. Anyway, Joe Gilberto. Excuse me. Hello. He was there when the music was created with those guys in Rio. So to do a record with him producing and even played on a couple of tracks was an honor. And all those Joe Beam tunes are just freaking amazing. There's so many great tunes.
Absolutely.
So yes, and I am playing a lot of straight ahead. I'll get brave enough eventually.
Can't wait.
So yeah, I've really been thinking about it, which tunes I might like to do and how I might like to record it, and so it's coming. Also, the surf record that I did about 15 years ago will come out eventually this year, hopefully. So
I think we had a question about that somewhere, actually, interestingly. So that's kind of cool. Okay, next one. Alex Higgins.
Okay, yeah. So, question for Andy: have you ever thought about using a Kemper, etc., in a live setting,
Like the digital stuff?
The digital profiling.
Okay, well, I'll probably step on some toes. Maybe I won't.
That's all right.
We like some controversy here. Sorry.
You know what that is, right? So it's for me. I mean, the technology is absolutely incredible. With the fractal thing and the Kemper. I have little experience with the Kemper. I did use a fractal for a while on tour with Olivia when we were touring Southeast Asia, and I didn't want to use a Fender Twin in Kuala Lumpur or wherever I was every day. So that made things a little easier. But in general, I mean, let me say this: I've been on stage where somebody's brought one of these units and sat in with me. I mean, it was not even close, folks. For me, it was. I'm an old school guy. The thing about the technology is that not everybody can afford to have a few different amps and cabinets and have all this stuff, right? But when it comes to studio, now the studio thing, to me, it's sounding pretty good. But again, I don't own either one of those units right now, so I'm not an expert. But for live stuff, I think we got a way to go. Or the ones that I heard live weren't quite there yet. Let's just say that. I've always said when I see Eric Johnson using one, I'll think about it.
That's a good benchmark, I reckon. Actually, that's the benchmark. Fair enough.
Johnson.
Pass. Yeah.
Right, next one, Dan.
Oh man, I'm getting all the tough names. K. Padraig O'Kane.
Okay, right. This is an interesting one. This seems
quite it's kind of deep, but not in the same sort of way. Be sure to ask Andy if he has any explanation for those 10-minute Steve Lukather inspired solos he took over Boy George songs while he was playing in a Raffles restaurant while he was going to school in Miami.
This is a guy. So this is a friend of mine who lives in Miami.
Was he there?
Yes, he was. Yeah, and actually, he's not. Someone in the chat mentioned it as well.
This is the 2 years that I was in Miami, easily the two biggest years of my musical growth. There's no doubt about it. Because I was in school all day around the most amazing players, getting all this information. Then I was in this top 40 bag. We played Raffles Restaurant for 9 months, 6 nights a week, and had to set up and tear down every night. There's some dues paying there, but oh my god! And here's my rig. This will be fun. I was plugged into a Tom Scholz Rockman into an Ibanez AD202 Echo into a Music Man with a 15-inch speaker, and it was awesome. It sounded great.
I used to have that Ibanez delay unit.
And I had a it would have been a Squier Strat, an 83 Squier Strat with the MG pickups because of Lukather. And at that particular time, Luke was, everybody at school, all the guys were all into Lukather and Carlton and Lukather, Carlton, and Stern. So yeah, I'd be out on the gig playing Charlie Parker licks with a Lukather tone,
Awesome. And Boy George tunes.
I was working it all out, but yeah, oh man, we used to play. I've got a video that might be one of the classic AT videos that we do on the GuitarExperience.net site. That's the kind of stuff I want to get out there. So there's some of that material that exists. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But that's funny that somebody was there, man. It was good times.
Yeah, he was
Hello,
really specific.
whoever asked that question, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, James Russo, is there going to... Oh, sorry, Dave, you should be asking this question. I apologise.
Is there going to be another Simon Phillips protocol record?
We're on a break. If I were to quote Friends, we're on a break. Right now, yeah, he's doing a protocol record right now, but I declined to do it because of everything that I've got going on right now. I think Greg Howe is going to do it, actually.
Okay.
Which I thought was a great choice. No, Simon and I are going to definitely work together quite a bit in the future. But he needed to do a record in another tour, and I didn't think I was up for doing it for this year. So we'll do some more in the future, whether it's protocol or not. But I love Simon quite a bit, and we are good mates, and we'll do some more stuff together eventually. Yeah.
Awesome. So Steve Murphy wants to know.
Steve Murphy?
Steve Murphy, yeah. Are there any new guitarists you're listening to that you're kind of getting into at this point? Any new guitarists on the scene?
I reacted because there's a drummer named Steve Murphy that I worked with quite a bit back in New York. So I don't think it's the same Steve Murphy.
It's a different guy.
Yeah. He would have had a way more smart ass question. Okay, he's asking what guitarist?
Yeah, so like new young guitarists that you're into. Maybe if you've heard some guys who are kind of like, I don't know, kind of
okay, so there's a couple levels to this. Now I have two favorite guitar players under 50, assuming Eric Gales is still under 50 and Derek Trucks.
Yeah. Oh,
these two guys for me are, I don't know, there's just another level of something happening. Yeah. And I think it's just it's mature, it's got a thing. And this isn't to blow smoke, but Tom, you and Martin are a couple of guys. Now I will say I don't spend a lot of time, like the player you mentioned earlier. I'm embarrassed that he's probably this amazing player. There's so much out there that I tend to. It's usually it's the friend filter where somebody go, oh man, you got to check out so and so. I learned. I think I emailed you at some point, Tom. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I remember hearing something online at some point, whether it was a Facebook link. And I know I reached out, and I'll do that. If I do hear somebody, I love to just say, "Freaking man, sounds great," and stop it. No, man. That's why I'm honored that you guys are even talking to me, because I feel like I got a couple of bad Ace Frehley licks. That's about all I got. But it's staggering the level of advancement in technique, but also just on the cerebral end of things. What you and Martin are doing. It's really inspiring, and so I'll be signing up for lessons.
I can't talk anymore, so you're
oh my goodness, I'll take over for a second then. So Pedro de Joses Utrera, I apologise.
That's the name.
That's the name. So I apologise for butchering the name. We want the transcription songbook of AT, like Ear Ecstasy. Will it be released? Any points?
Well, there's one songbook so far. We did the Resolution songbook, and that was a huge pain in the ass. It was. I a good friend of mine, offered to do the transcription and did a good job. But then when I realized it wasn't like 100%, I had to get involved with it, and that meant thinking and working, and but I did it, and we edited. I personally edited the whole thing and got it to where it was right. But man, that was a hard process for me. But luckily now, like I mentioned for the website, I've got a guy down in South America who's really good and really fast. And so once he does a basic transcription, he can send it to me. I can check it out on Guitar Pro, which saves me from having the agony of having to actually read this playing. That's not necessarily the easiest thing to transcribe. Rhythmically, it's difficult. So now there's potential to get it all transcribed. So for now, all the individual transcriptions will be available as part of the website. But eventually, I'm sure we're going to publish actual volumes of each record. And I will say, and Tom can probably relate to this, that music is still selling. I'm still selling a lot of CDs through my website, or I'm on CD Baby, so they get it to all the brick and mortar shops that are still out there. But by far, the thing that sells more on my website is the book.
Yeah.
I think that people are going to be able to find it illegally if they want it, be it YouTube, or not that that's illegal, but you know what I'm saying? There's so much out there that they want to hear this stuff, they can get it, but they want to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So therefore the website, there will be definitely publications. And so, again, I'm just happy people are still listening, and it's handy that I'm starting to practice more. let's try to get good at this once and for all, shall
Absolutely.
we?
Okay, next one.
Well, the next one, I think they've already.
Yeah,
We've
go
already
to
done that,
we've
so.
only got a few more questions, Andy. We don't want to take up any more of your time than necessary.
I know.
We've been doing.
Again, I'm happy to be here, man. So no
Awesome.
time constraints.
There's like 3-4 more questions.
Yeah.
So
So this is what's the name on the other page? Richard Taylor. Interested to hear your take on changes to the industry, such that if he was coming up nowadays, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I'm the worst guy to ask. I don't feel like I've ever been particularly great at self-promotion or business stuff. I mean, these days you need to be savvy with it. You need to be pretty hands-on. But so there's a couple things at play here. If you'd asked me whatever year that Napster was debuted, and it's been a long time now. It obviously went defunct, and maybe it's back now on some level. I immediately thought that, well, the internet's the worst thing to happen. I just felt like, oh shit, people can steal my entire life's work for free. And it really was that. It was, my thought prior to that was like, okay, this is my body of work. This is my life's work. This will be money for my son or something, something like that. But as things happen the way they happened, you start to realize that it's maybe a bit of a double-edged sword, but it truly is the best thing. I think overall, and the reason for that is that Tom Quayle, Martin Miller, me to a certain degree, Andy McKee, all these players are getting this exposure because of how we're communicating right now. Mm-hmm. We've got the internet. We've got the world is in your back pocket. I mention Andy McKee quite a bit because people ask me, well, what do I got to do to make it? And I say, you just got to be great. Mm-hmm. You just got to be great, because now, before you had to be great and then move to a certain city and then pull strings to try to get in front of the right people and then maybe get a deal and maybe get shelved or released. Now you can be in your bedroom, and if you're amazing and you have something to offer, record a video, get it out there, and if it truly has merit, if there's truly something to offer, then there's the potential for that thing to get shared. We talked about Cry For You earlier. A video, it was just a gig. It got videoed. Somebody released it. A tape leaked out illegally. It wasn't supposed to be released, and somebody posted it. And that's how a lot of people got to know me, or because I was standing next to Steve Vai or Paul Gilbert. So I have a lot to thank the internet for that exposure that I wouldn't be getting it on a radio station or TV. So just by the sheer nature that somebody liked how I played and it got shared, that's and continues to happen for different songs, fortunately. That might take away some sales. Sorry for the email notification. Might take from some sales, but at the end of the day, I've got fans, and if that means they come to a show or they join my website or they buy whatever, at some point, we have to make a living. We got to figure out how to monetize, and I hate that word. I didn't get into this business to be rich and famous, or have any concern about it. I just love the music. I wanted to be a part of it. I love the look of the instrument. I love the sound, and that's still what drives me. But I have I got 3 cats, a wife, and a kid, and so you do have to be aware of it. But luckily, that's not what drives me. But at the end of the day, we got to think about it. So all is well. Really, it's just changing. And again, I feel that true art and music made for the right reasons will get out there.
It's just great to see that there are some guys who struggle to keep up with the change within the industry. And I think you have to embrace, no matter where you are in the industry and how long you've been in it, rather than kind of complain about things and so on and so forth. You have to embrace it and move with the change. It might not be a positive thing initially, but if you can move along with change and find new ways of interacting with it. And it's so great to see, I think people are now embracing this, I'm going to call it new media. It's the cheesiest thing in the world, but it's
sure.
experience and doing the YouTube thing, and you can connect with fans on a completely different level now, and it's just so great to see.
No, it is amazing. So it's overall a blessing, no doubt about it. But it's just it's harder for the older that the artist is.
Yeah.
And certainly, I'd been doing it in the old. I'm really glad that I had, and very fortunate that I had some experience in what would the major label industry,
Yeah.
because it was such a mysterious, nebulous thing. You know, it was like the holy grail in some way. And then it's so much. This is talking about the Danger years. So we were on Epic Records, part of CBS, and eventually Sony, and all that. And so, but as soon as I was a part of it and saw how low on the totem pole the musician, the art really was, I said, this has nothing to do with what I want to do. And so, after that experience, I never even sent my music to a label. It's the last thing I wanted. I wanted to own my music. I wanted to control it. I wanted to just make the music I wanted to make. The best thing about that experience was I learned who I was. I really, got that education. Here, I knew what I didn't want. You think you want this thing, but until you're there, you go, either this is awesome or what the hell did I get myself into? Yeah. Great times along the way, but the takeaway was, okay, now I know what I want to do. And Steve Vai was the first guy to come along when he did Favored Nations, back in the late '90s. That it made sense. It was, you still own your music. We share things 50-50, and great. So that was the first time I worked with a label at that point, but I still own the masters. That was the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we should do like maybe one more question, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick a question?
Let's have a read.
I kind of think Mark's question is really a good one. Maybe.
Yeah.
You want to go for that one? Do you want to ask it, Dave?
Or the last one? So whichever of those two.
Yeah. Do you want to pick one, Dave, and then just whichever one you want to go for?
Which one are you picking?
Oh no, we're just going to do one.
Just do one more question.
You just choose it, Dave.
Okay. Might as well end on a cheesy guitar question. Okay.
Fine. Yeah. No problem.
This is we'll end on a cliche question. Daniel, my buddy Daniel Craig wants to know if you had one amp, one pedal, and one record to take to a desert island, what would they be?
So I got an amp, a pedal,
and an album.
And an album.
So
no guitar.
Well, at the end of the question it says we know the 8100 is booked already, so that's a given. The guitar's a given.
Yeah, but that would be absolutely. An amp would be the Lone Star. The pedal was the ATJHS. I'll miss my Echo, but you got to have your.
And
an album.
I have one more question.
I got to pick an album.
He hasn't picked the album yet.
That sucks. This is hard. I will pick. It's got to be something Beatles. I'm sorry. It's gonna be Meet the Beatles. It's gonna be Meet the Beatles, which was with the Beatles in the UK, but I gotta have one Beatles record, and I'll pick that one.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Andy, I have your AT pedal here.
Hey, nice. All right.
Yeah, and it sounds amazing, but I don't sound like you.
Oh,
what's the deal?
You sound like
because you've got this on your board.
Yeah. I would tweak that one little. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's better.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Cheers.
The two greatest distortion pedals ever.
I'm such a fanboy. Sitting next to one.
Was that the Tom Quayle fusion pedal?
Yeah.
I want one of those. We need to swap pedals, man.
We'll get you one.
That way I'll sound just like Tom with all.
Why would you do that when you sound like Andy Timmons?
I would never be able to. That's the problem.
So,
as Mike Stern would say, I got one chop.
Yeah.
I got one chop.
Yeah, man.
Love Mike.
He did a workshop at Leeds where I'm from, and I'm pretty sure he said that about 50 times actually.
I got one chop.
I got one chap, man. It's over autumn leaves. Absolutely. So Andy,
I've played Autumn Leaves many times with Mike. Actually.
Really? Like every time I see him do a workshop, he always plays Autumn Leaves. I don't know. I mean, it's a great tune. Nothing wrong with that tune.
It's a beautiful tune.
So we have to thank you so much. We don't want to keep you any longer, but it's been more than a pleasure. It's just been absolutely amazing speaking to you. The chat's gone wild. People have just been really appreciative of like the humbleness and just generally
the positivity.
Just the positivity.
Okay, so I want to do a giveaway. Are people chatting? Can we? If I ask a question, they can answer, right?
Yeah.
Let me get my quiz tone here. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll sign the theme from A Perfect World CD,
Yep.
the most recent CD.
Awesome.
We'll do 3 questions if we got time.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
And so you can see who answers first, and we can send them a CD, right?
Let me get a pen because otherwise I'm going to struggle to. I've got to write down who answers.
This wasn't planned, guys. This is like, oh, excitement.
I'm
Get ready.
gonna think of this 3 riffs, and you got to name the first guy to name the riff gets the CD.
Awesome.
You're a legend, man. Thank you.
Okay, so here's the first one. So yeah, okay. Well, I was gonna say, and you got to name the band and what country they're from. Now, you can name the tune? All right, you ready?
Awesome.
Famous guitarist. All right.
Weird.
Anybody got it yet?
Well, there's a little bit of delay, so maybe if you do the next one.
Then I will
Right.
continue, and I'll play the solo from that song. It's one of the best things because it's in a minor key, but the dude is playing big old major thirds. Check it out. Here's the solo. And that's over.
Yeah, man.
Classic.
Okay.
Nobody knows it?
Awesome. So I think we have a winner.
Oh, we do. Well, we got to know the name. What's the name?
So his username is BrazenNL.
No, but has he answered the question?
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
Venus.
Venus by the Shocking Blue. Yes. Yes.
So BrazenNL, send me a message on YouTube or send me a message via Facebook, and we'll sort that out. So that's amazing.
Fantastic.
So
Well, this is
basically,
great. We should have done this for the whole thing.
So I kind of feel like we should hang out and set up a game show now. This is amazing.
I never want this to end. This is so good.
So you've won a copy of Theme for a Perfect World, which is awesome.
Okay, so let's do one more. Let's do because I've got this old Strat. I'll play a Strat tune. That's all you need right there.
That is awesome.
Oh, man.
That's a good riff. That's a good riff.
So
See if that gets any response. That's
What have we got?
pretty bad.
Free Ride.
Free ride, very nice.
Right. So the winner of that one, GLC 3344.
Okay.
Well done.
Now I've got more. Now this is going to sound familiar, but it's actually it's my composition. But so they have to be a really hardcore fan of mine to know what this song's called.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right.
here we go. You ready?
Is it called You Rock?
What?
No, it's just somebody. No, it's not what the answer was. What have they written? So we've got Paul Simon, Call Me Al. No, no, that's not it. That is not it. Free Ride.
Yeah.
Is it Free Ride? No.
Taking care of business.
Take care of business.
Okay. Well, that's close. That's that might have been the influence. But it was in a minor key. You see, so it's not taking care of business. Maybe the joke's not coming through on the internet.
No one's.
It's like
8:15 into
Dead
the
Bird. You ever heard
siren.
Dead Bird?
Amazing.
You guys don't deserve this. I'm sorry.
Man, so we've got this
Very
loads of
bad. You need more beers before that's funny.
Yeah. No, I like it. Awesome. So, like, we've got those two guys. So that's
good enough. Those two guys in a bad joke.
that'll do. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, yeah, Brazen NL GLC 3344. Send me a message. We'll sort that out for you. That's amazing. Thank you, Andy.
Well, thank you guys, man. Have a great evening and a nice pint of bitzes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll get on to pint 2 or 3.
I'm
So
off the Starbucks for my iced Americano.
awesome.
It's been an honour. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy.
It really has. Andy, thank you so much, and thanks from everybody in the chat as well.
Thanks,
Everybody
man.
go out and buy his new album. Theme for a
And
Perfect
check
World.
out guitarexperience.net.
No,
Absolutely.
Yes.
No E.
And I hope to see you soon. Thank you, Andy, so much.
Thank you,
Let
Andy.
me
Thank
just
you.
go back to this section here, and then I'm going to very depressively hang up on Andy. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Bye, dude.
We'll see you soon.
see you, man.
Cheers. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. There we go.
Oh,
Mr. Andy Timmons for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
Such a warm dude.
He's so incredible, man.
Crazy, isn't it, for a guy to be that nice and that talented?
Open-minded as well, like to just keep learning
Yeah.
and practicing. And
Completely
it's,
nuts.
like, just awesome.
Completely nuts. So there you have it, guys. That was episode 6 of season 4. I did said season 6 then. Episode 6 of season 4.
Yeah. Another
What
season.
a top season.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, man.
It has been a lot of fun.
And that we've
Absolutely.
got
Hit new
over
heights.
200 people
Oh,
live.
we got 250.
250.
Yeah,
That's a
250.
new. It's a new high considering
So-
time difference.
If you are watching now and you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us. We'll do season 5 fairly soon. We're not sure when it's going to start. As usual, we'll do some intermediate streams in between. We'll probably stream hopefully once a week until season 5 starts. Check out theguitarhour.com. You can buy t-shirts there. You can support us via Patreon. Obviously, get yourself on Andy Timmons' website, which I believe is andytimmons.com. Really, really simple. Check out guitarexperience.net and also buy Andy's new album, Theme for a Perfect World. It's a fantastic album. And that's it, guys.
Oh, wait a second. I think. Oh.
Now, this is not exactly fair.
I thought
This
it was
is a
gonna
bit of a
go,
last minute thing.
At
Yeah.
the time of
Anyway,
life.
should we do the lift?
Yeah, Dave can run in from outside.
Oh,
I-
Sprouts baby in the corner.
I have end of season gifts for you two. Yours is in the post, but it
Oh.
is
Is it epic?
See, we've
Oh,
known
it's
about
so
this
good.
the entire stream. We're very excited.
right. So for Tom, I've not wrapped these
One-time
because
jazz stream.
I've not wrapped these because
Yeah.
I'm not that organised. But for Tom, you've got this.
What's on this? That is genuinely hilarious. It's a mug that says 4K. Is it in 4K?
Well, you tell me. You're the one that always goes on about
It
it.
looks pretty crisp.
What are your eyes in, Tom?
Oh, at least 8K. Well, actually, my eyes are in about half a K.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. That's awesome.
Like
feel like a
if we
cup
did a
of tea
shot every
coming
time Tom said 4K, we would all
Yeah.
not be here. Yours is in the post. It will be
Alright,
here.
it's okay.
And it's so good that he knows what it is. They both know what it is. For BB, maybe for studio layout.
What's that?
Turn it over.
You've probably just killed the headphone users. Oh, man.
Oh, turn it around.
Turn it round, quick.
Looks like him. It looks like him. Rackety Chimp, are you watching?
Rackety Jim.
You've just given it away. Now Cheryl knows.
So I can.
Studio chair.
This is like, if I ever do
Thank you,
University
dude.
Challenge, I've got my mascot and he's got his mascot
Yeah.
now.
We do
but-
guitar challenge.
Guitar Diversity Challenge.
Yeah.
Is the best gift gonna have to wait for episode 1, season 5?
Well, it's more incentive to do it sooner than later because it
Okay.
is so good. It's so good.
We'll just do a stream just for that thing alone.
Just a 5-minute stream of
Yeah.
the ritual of the giving of the gift.
Do you know what I really hope you've got him? Is a one-on-one lesson with Rick Beato. Can you imagine his face? Can you imagine his face? Or a one-on-one
Oh,
Skype
man.
session. Right,
Well,
that
guys.
that is actually it.
This is season 4 done. I hope you've enjoyed that. We've absolutely
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Season 4 seems to go on forever, actually.
Yeah,
been
guys,
amazing.
thanks so much for tuning in and joining the chat and plugging our stuff. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff was even mentioned on the Reverb
Yeah.
article.
We just had that.
Oh,
The,
yeah.
the interaction in the chat, like outside of the interaction with us, was mentioned, so it's really nice. It's a really nice, positive thing that you guys get involved with each other.
One of the best things about doing this is talking to you guys on the stream, reading the chat, and
Well,
Lee.
The best thing is the chat is hilarious.
Well, it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
makes it. It's so funny, and yeah.
Can be a bit of a distraction at times.
Oh,
though.
just a little bit,
massively.
yeah.
I'll never forget the time I was trying to play like some kind of unplugged song that I was like really thing. You guys are just wetting yourself. Probably it's Timmons. I'm having this real
Timmons.
emotional thing. Yeah, I wrote this for my wife or whatever it was. And then you guys are like,
Well, you want to tell Ryan Simmons and Steve Ozone to stop. What have I done here? I can't open my beer.
Well,
I'll figure it out later. I was going to fill my 4K mug with beer.
So is it a 4-part a cappella harmony outro with the theme?
Bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun,
bum, bum, dun, dun.
oh,
Da, da.
Or we could just do it acoustically.
Throw a guitar.
acoustic? Are they all in fourths?
They are.
Yep.
Oh, mate.
Transposition. Oh, no, don't you dare. Oh, how am I going to do this? Why do I get the bass?
Oh, sorry. Do you want a proper guitar? No
Yeah.
offense, bass players in the stream.
Oh, this is standard. That's nice. I looked out.
How's it go?
I feel like after having Timmons on the stream, it can only lead to disappointing us trying to play this music.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
You're doing the rhythm then?
Who's going first? It's your first, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, hang on. I just need a pick.
Wait, hold on a sec.
This
I
is
need
like-
a pick.
This is like the worst
Okay.
outro ever.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoa.
Okay. Ooh.
Yes! The best version ever.
See you next
apart from the
season,
starter
guys.
version. We'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. Where's my mouse gone?
Season 5.